freedom and success. If you're like most poker players I speak with, you want these two things: to create freedom in your life for you and your family, to be successful and achieve your poker goals. Unfortunately, most poker players don't get there, not due to a lack of talent, but due to a lack of skills. So what is in your way? The challenges poker provides you with require you to develop a particular set of skills.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Without these skills, you won't be able to play poker at a high level. You will struggle to deal with the negative emotions you experience in-game. You will feel overwhelmed and unable to play your best poker consistently. You will be unable to focus and get easily distracted. You will experience self-doubt and question if you are on the right path. Your technical knowledge and understanding of poker may continue to improve, but your results won't follow. You can't study your way to these skills in a solver. You have to train them directly. Life and poker are very much like a computer game. You have to continue to level up your character so that you can play higher levels of the game. The game will continue to test you to see if you've learned the skills you need to progress to the next level. This goes way beyond just poker strategy. For example, low stakes players will continue to get frustrated and tilt due to bad variance, and they will therefore remain stuck at that level. They don't have the skill to progress further. Mid-stakes players have generally learned how to handle variance better than low-stakes players, and therefore they can progress to the higher levels of the game. Now, this is just an example of one skill. There's a stack of skills that you need to develop to reach your full poker potential. If you're someone who's working hard on your technical game, yet you're not seeing the progress that you would expect, this is what is missing. Why you need a stack of skills. Poker doesn't reward you for how much knowledge you have. The fact that you can expertly break down a hand in a study session doesn't make you money. Your ability to understand a solver doesn't increase your win rate. Poker rewards in-game performance. That is to say, it rewards those that can execute a winning strategy consistently. The 3 performance drivers. When it comes to your in-game performance, here are the 3 things that have the biggest impact. Number 1, your state of mind, the thought patterns, beliefs, and biases that you are receptive to. Number 2, your emotional state, what you are experiencing in your body and how that impacts your thinking. Number 3, your energy levels, how intensely and for how long you are able to maintain a high cognitive output. Most players struggle because they have not developed the skills that allow them to control these 3 performance drivers. As a result, their performance is inconsistent at best and terrible at worst. So this leaves you with 2 options. Option A, leave the 3 performance drivers to chance, like 99% of players do. Or option B, learn to master these drivers so that you are able to consistently perform at your best. For those of you who choose option A, your path ends here. Thanks for watching, and I wish you the best of luck. May the poker gods forever be in your favor. For those of you who choose option B, pay attention, as your path is about to get very interesting. Reality is created in the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. Plato. As thoughts lead to actions and actions lead to outcomes, we can say that the quality of the results we get in life are equal to the quality of our thoughts. It doesn't take much observation to see that this is true. Think of the last time you were playing your best poker. Your mind was likely clear and unobstructed, allowing good thoughts to flow to you easily, and you were able to make good decisions. On the flip side, when you are playing badly, you might notice you have brain fog or incoherent thought patterns that lead you to make bad decisions. The quality of your thoughts leads to the quality of your results. Then there are bundles of thoughts that have developed around a thought or an idea that we call beliefs. Although beliefs can drive us to take action, they very often lead to inaction. This is because we use thoughts around experiences from the past to predict what we can do in the future. For example, let's say you were bad with money growing up and never had much. You might form the belief that money is hard to come by and that you have a hard time keeping it. Now you want to move up poker stakes, but you feel scared and worried that you might lose your hard-earned bankroll just like you used to in the past. This leads to inaction, and you choose to stay in your comfort zone. Without identifying your limiting beliefs and moving past them, you create imaginary ceilings that cap your potential. This will dictate how much money you make, what stakes you play, what your body looks like, and even what relationships you have. Don't underestimate the power of your beliefs. The mind's fix-it mode. Then there are the thought patterns that change in response to the experiences that you are having. Are you resilient enough to deal with losing for a whole month? Do you have the perspective skills to zoom out and see the bigger picture when you're going through a brutal downswing? Or does your mind become chaotic and freak out? If you can't handle the events that are happening around you, your mind will get very active thinking of ways to fix things. Although this sounds like a good thing, it's actually the worst thing you can do for the situation. It's like having your face down in a pool of water, frantically splashing around, trying not to drown. You don't stop to realize that the water is only 6 inches deep and you can just stand up. To use a poker example, let's say you've made a bad river call and lost a big pot. Your mind doesn't like what has happened, so it goes into fix-it mode. You start thinking about why you should have folded, how you're an idiot for calling, and why you are never going to make such a stupid call again. This is the mind's attempt to try and make the situation better, but it only makes things worse. The event has already happened. All you can do is accept it and move on. If you want to come back and review that spot after your session, that's fine, but right now, you need to refocus on the next hand. Regaining control of your mind. Meet Martin. Martin is one of my poker athlete students, and before we worked together, he was experiencing a lot of low confidence, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of negative thoughts. When things didn't go his way at the tables, he didn't really know how to handle it, and he would make spewy plays out of frustration. He was in a dark place with his thoughts, and he worried that he might be a lost cause before we worked together. What he didn't realize at the time is that he was just lacking a set of skills that would put him back in control. The skills Martin had to work on the most were self-awareness, resilience, and perspective. After training these skills for a number of weeks in my Poker Athlete program, here's what Martin had to say. It has fundamentally changed my approach to life itself. Through the program, I discovered the power of acceptance and self-awareness. These two things have let me be a much more relaxed and calm person in poker, but more importantly, in real life. Now I'm just overall much happier and calmer than I was before. I'm not as stressed as I used to be. Routine anxiety attacks are almost gone. If they happen, I am aware enough to realize that I have tendencies to catastrophize and that most of my worries about the future are imaginary. I feel back in control. The program is without a doubt life-changing for me. Even if I stopped playing poker tomorrow, I would still think this is the best money I have ever spent on development. No quick fixes or magic bullets, just training skills that lead to predictable improvements in performance. And even more importantly, to the overall quality of his life. If you'd like the chance to join Martin and be one of my next Poker Athlete students, make sure you watch this video to the very end. If your emotional abilities aren't in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, if you're not able to manage your distress and emotions, then no matter how smart you are not going to get very far. Daniel Goleman, the author of Emotional Intelligence. If you wanted to create the perfect training ground to stimulate emotional responses, you'd create a game like poker. Uncertainty built into the game to spark fear and self-doubt. Money on the line so that each decision can be costly, so there is always a sense of threat and worry. High variance that often rewards bad players and punishes good players for a sprinkle of frustration and anger. If you then tie your identity to winning and being good at poker, like many players do, you create the perfect storm for emotional turmoil. Acting on emotions. Your emotional state affects the way you think and the choices you make. Most players don't know how to regulate their emotions. As a result, they become victims to them. A losing session, an aggressive opponent, or making a mistake can all trigger an emotional response that they don't know how to deal with. Frustration, annoyance, worry, and fear can quickly take hold. Before they know it, they are calling down light around rivers, widening their 4-bet bluffing range, and going for ambitious bluffs. Losing pot after pot leads them to feel even more frustrated, which compounds their problems. This is when the really spewy players begin. Other players will observe their bad players and start to question themselves. They'll say to themselves things like, what am I doing? Why did I just try to bluff this call station? Why didn't I just fold? They start to lose confidence in their game and their ability to make good decisions. They become indecisive and start overthinking their players, which just leads to more and more errors. I'm sure these will be familiar stories for many of you. So what is going wrong? The mind-body interplay. Your mind and body are always in communication. As things are happening in your environment, such as at the poker tables, your mind and body are on the lookout for perceived threats. This could be a physical threat, but more often, it's a threat to your resources, i.e. money, or threats to your ego, i.e. your self-concept, that trigger most perceived threats. For example, if you're someone who thinks of yourself as clever and good at poker, making a mistake can be perceived as a threat to your ego. This triggers emotional responses in the body that most players haven't learned to deal with. Regaining control of your emotions. Meet Amia. Before we worked together, Amia felt frustrated and burnt out. He couldn't handle his body being full of adrenaline and cortisol whilst playing, which made him feel anxious and out of control. This led him to make mistakes that he wouldn't normally make. After going through my program and training his emotional regulation and stress mastery skills, he was able to make some big breakthroughs. Here is what Amia had to say. I now acknowledge that my body is pumping blood to my system and getting active before starting to play, and I can use that to my advantage. I've also learned to ground my feelings and to use shifting states in my body to perform better. If I could summarize the difference since going through the program, I would say it's that I feel more in control of my body and more aware of why things are happening in my body. This gives me a level of control I've never had before. There wasn't anything wrong with Amia. He just hadn't been taught two valuable skills that he needed to perform at his best. Through developing his emotional regulation and stress mastery skills, he now feels back in control and able to play his best poker. Energy, not time, is the fundamental currency of high performance. Jim Lowe. From the physical tasks of getting out of bed in the morning, feeding your dog, and going for a walk, to the mental tasks of studying and playing poker at a high level. The more you want to get out of yourself in terms of physical and cognitive output, the more energy matters. If you want to spend hours studying, breaking down the why behind a solver's strategy, or be mentally sharp as you compete against good high-stakes players, you need to optimize your energy. The energy problem. Most players I speak with have big goals and dreams, yet they don't have the energy to consistently move towards them. They'd love to play a few more hours of extra poker or to get that extra hour of studying in. But most days they run out of energy and they end up doing something less demanding. They feel like they lack discipline and they wish they could just push themselves to do more. Many of these players think they have a discipline problem, but they don't. They have an energy problem. The energy solution. So how do you get more energy? There are 3 factors that dictate how much energy you have available to use. Number 1, the fuel, the raw materials that you give your body. Just like a factory needs raw materials to make products, your body needs fuel in the form of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Number 2, energy production, how efficiently your body produces energy. The mitochondria in your cells convert chemical fuel to APT, which is the energy currency of your body. Number 3, energy supply, how well your body can deliver nutrients around the body. Energy is transported around the body via your bloodstream, which relies on an efficient heart and strong lungs. Add in a good night's sleep so that your energy systems have time to recharge and you have all the components to optimize your energy. If all that biology went over your head, here's a simple way to think about it for each day. Give your body the optimal fuel for your performance needs. Train your energy production system by increasing the quality and quantity of your mitochondria. Improve your energy supply system by increasing your heart's efficiency and lung capacity. Over time, by doing the right things consistently, you'll have an abundance of energy that you can use for anything you want. Regaining control of your energy. Meet Kristoff. Before we worked together, Kristoff was feeling a lot of stress while struggling to keep his energy levels high enough to perform at his best. This led him to feel overwhelmed when he was on a downswing and he didn't feel like he had the energy to go after his goals consistently. Some of the main skills Kristoff has seen big improvements with is his energy optimization, his focus, and his presence, which together have allowed him to play his best poker for longer. Here's what Kristoff had to say. Being a poker athlete has taught me how crucial it is to gain a small edge wherever possible, from my thoughts to my sleep, nutrition, and optimizing my energy levels. I've improved in so many areas of my life, and I now know so much about the human brain and body that I can use to improve my performance. After going through the Poker Athlete program, I now have so much more self-awareness and confidence in myself. I've been following a healthy diet, as well as taking the supplements which Adam recommended, and it has really boosted my performance. I handle variance much better than before, and I'm enjoying my poker more than ever. I'm now able to get into a peak performance zone when I'm playing much easier, and I can stay there for longer. More energy, increased focus, and more presence have allowed Kristoff to unlock his potential and play his best poker. With all of the students I've mentioned in this video, each player had their own unique problems to begin with. Yet they were all coming from the same root cause: undeveloped skills. Once they were able to identify which skills they were lacking and how to improve them through specific training, their performance went to the next level, becoming a poker athlete. If you would like to learn how to train your skills, like Martin, Amia, Kristoff, and my other 60 poker athletes, then listen up. I'm taking on a new group of 10 players for my signature Poker Athlete program, which starts on June 17th. Applications are open for the next few days only, so don't delay. Click on the button in the description and you'll be able to apply for one of those last spots. I'll be reaching out to those of you who are selected with the next steps. For the rest of you, thank you for watching this video to the end. I hope you had a lot of value from this, and I'll see you in the next one.